Hello. In this podcast, we will be discussing subjects that may not be suitable for all ages.
Including, but not limited to, language, discussion of violence, sexual violence, and nudity.
Wait, this is a podcast. They can't even see the nudity if it's even in the movie.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah, it doesn't
so
matter.
nix the last thing. The other things are still
there.
Still relevant.
Violence.
So, basically, no kids and grandma. Don't listen.
Don't listen. But anyway, enjoy.
Hello, and welcome to Living Vicariously,
the podcast where we talk about real-to-real horror.
I've never had any complaints about my head. Logan, and I like to watch and talk about horror movies.
And I'm a sexy Satanist with a mullet, McCall, and I like to talk about true crime and murder.
Woo!
Woo! How you doing?
Good, how you doing? How are you and your husband doing?
I got married.
It's official, I had to sign the document.
You did.
When I was doing it, I couldn't help but be like Sleepy Hollow and be like, I'm afraid it was his death warrant.
I gotta watch that. Because it's spooky season.
It's spooky season. That's we haven't done that one yet for the podcast, and I really want to do it.
Oh my god, I love that movie so much. It's on Netflix still, right?
Maybe. I don't
Sleepy
know.
Hollow?
Probably not.
I feel
We own it.
They get rid
We
of...
own it on, for you children, we own it on VHS, or our parents own it.
Yeah, we fucking do.
VHS.
Essay.
Essay.
Right? That's S, right?
I think so.
Oh my god.
I'd have to go through the whole alphabet. I can't say J-D-A-F-A. Hey, H-I-J-O-T-K.
I just learned the whole alphabet.
L-A-M-A-N-A-N-A-U.
I think you're making up shit.
I'm not. I did skip one, though. Oh, pay.
It's like when...
Q-R-S-A-T.
I feel like I had a friend...
W-X.
Oh my god. I had a friend...
Y.
God damn it.
Zeta. Yo sé el alfabeto.
Okay. Oh.
It was Olay.
Yeah, it'd be weird if it was okay. Okay. I had a friend who was babysitting a kid and...
Oh, no, I want a potato Olay.
That sounds really good.
Right? Especially because... Oh, and we'll talk about that
We'll talk
later.
about it at the end. But I had a friend who was babysitting a kid and they did the alphabet. Mm-hmm. But like
They changed the song or something, right?
They changed the fucking song?
I thought they changed the song.
No. I was doing the LMNOP.
Mm-hmm.
They thought LMNO was like one letter. Like they didn't think it was LMN. They just said LMNOP. I just thought that was cute.
I'm pretty sure they changed the song in like schools because of that. Like, so it's like it distinguishes that it's like LMNOP, and I'm like. It's like that bit in The Incredibles 2 when he's like, math is math. You don't
Math is math.
And I'm like, I think I was trying to help Maya or something with something like that. And it was
something.
I'm not good at math, first of all. So I'm like, wow,
She asked you
wrong.
for math help?
I know, wrong person to ask. And then,
When was this?
I don't know.
I feel like this is not real.
Oh my God. Do you remember calling our aunts and our uncles when we couldn't figure out a math problem because mom didn't understand?
I don't remember doing that.
I had to do it all the time. Like, they'd be like, call Nancy. And I had to call her Aunt Nancy.
I silently accepted the F. I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
I was like, I would foolishly ask my parents for help.
No. I knew that no one could help me. I can't help me.
Like, why don't you call your grandma?
If you just write numbers, they're like, well, she tried. I was also in Dum Dum school, so...
I was in Dum Dum math, but...
They were teaching me how to make ice, so...
I was like, dang, that boy sure can read, but don't give him math.
Don't give him numbers.
Don't give him numbers.
And they looked at me and they
Marla
were like...
Hooch, what a hitter.
What a hitter. They looked at me and they were like, get the tutor.
Get him.
Wrangle her out of the real class. The tutor walks in and she's like, I'm here to collect the idiots. And then all the kids walk out of the room.
Well, that's how it was in our day. I don't know how it is anymore,
yeah,
but it's
she
like
called us idiots.
they were not nice about it.
They weren't subtle about it.
They weren't.
The kids knew where I was being taken.
It was they think they're being slick, but it's like, I swear, maybe the teachers don't think they're being slick. Maybe
I don't
they're just
know
like,
what they think.
But it's like the other kids know exactly where they're going.
Yeah.
I actually was a tutor for somebody, like, at one point.
When?
I don't, like, back in, like, grade school when I was, like, actually a tryhard. And I was a fucking tryhard in
Yeah.
grade school. And then it just went downhill, man. Once I realized I could charm myself out of a grade, I was gone.
I have never, ever had that ability, so, and I never will.
It's a boon.
Yeah, fuck you. You could talk to people and not be weird.
Oh, but it drains me. It drains me. I dread having to make phone calls at work because I'm just like, oh, I don't want to talk to this person. It's fully that one video of that person be like, oh, I don't want to talk. Please don't hang up. Please don't answer. Hi, is it?
Hi.
It's like once the phone actually gets picked up, I'm like, hi, is this so and so? My name's Logan. I can like, and I'm just like, oh wow.
Oh, wow. I can do it if I know how the conversation's gonna go.
That's true.
The second someone tries to, like,
Divert me.
joke with me or, like, says something I wasn't expecting, I'm like,
I had a guy cuss at me the other day.
whoa.
That's actually the first time I've had someone cuss at me at the place I'm working.
And you just hung up?
No, I like what I did do is like he's like, God, this is really fucking irritating, blah blah blah, and like I paused for like 30 seconds to kind of like be like, well, once you decide you want to act like an adult, we can start talking again.
Sir?
But it was like if he did it again, that's when I was gonna be like, sir, if you continue to cuss at me, I'm gonna have to end the call. And we will call back, and you can call back when you've calmed down.
When you've had some calm down time.
Exactly, when you've had a timeout.
Jesus. Yeah, well, that's, I'm just saying, when you're talking to people, just be cool, dog. I keep fucking with the mic. I don't know why.
I would say, you always touch the mic.
I can't stop touching it.
And every time I edit it now, I hear parts where there's just McCall. I can tell it's like McCall moving the G-damn mic.
Sticky little fingers that are like, well, what if I moved it here? Would it do anything differently?
No.
It would just make it worse.
Especially because we ran a mic test where it was sitting.
I know.
And now we're running a new mic. Or now it's like we're running a new mic test.
No, I'm not going to test it, though. So,
no, it's not.
Anyway.
It's over.
So, also, I was talking to someone, and they were like, you never talk about what you're wearing anymore.
Oh, we did?
We used to do that, and I was like, oh, yeah. So, I like your shirt. It's
Thank
cute.
you.
It's a little Sailor Moon shirt.
It's a little Sailor Moon. They had it at Target. I was like...
And it was in the men's section.
In the men's section.
Which is, I like that.
And I was like, and they have a new one, too, I think, with Sailor Moon on it, and I was like this close to getting that one, too.
Fuck yeah.
But I saw this one, and I was just like... Yoink. I was like,
Yes.
extra large, give it to me now. The only downside is it's a white shirt, and so I know that my pits are gonna get ruined pretty quick.
You do
This
that a lot.
will probably become a tank top within the next couple months.
It's cute, though.
It is cute. I really like it, and I was really bummed it was white because I just know what's gonna happen to it.
And you finally put your hair in a little tiny bun.
Yep.
And I love it.
Well, I can my hair is finally long enough that I can put it into a pretty significant top knot.
I don't know if we ever talked about you growing out your hair.
Oh, we've talked about it.
All right, cool.
We talked about it because I remember the day that you said on the podcast, you're like, you're never gonna grow your hair out. You just keep bitching about it, and then you
do keep bitching about it.
It's like you say you're gonna do it, and then you complain about how long it is, and then you're not, and then you get cut. You're never gonna grow your hair out. And I remember being like, all right.
Everyone stood up individually.
Well, it's like that bit in Tootsie where he's like, no one will hire you, and I was like, oh yeah. And that's kind of what happened. It was
All
like,
right.
you will never grow out your hair. Oh yeah.
Nice.
And now my family wants me to cut it.
I like it.
I know.
It's cute.
I liked it at the wedding. I loved
I liked your
the
French
braid, the braid that Mom did.
At my wedding. Anyway, I got my hair cut, so it's really short now.
It is. It's short again. I really enjoy it short.
It's my favorite short.
Mm-hmm. I remember there's a significant difference between your confidence when you had long hair and then the day you got that haircut. Well, first of all, you cut it and you cut it short, but it wasn't as short as you wanted it.
It wasn't short enough.
And you cut it again, and then it was like there was a paradigm shift. Like you were. It's like I was like, now she's an adult.
Now that's who she is.
Yeah.
She's a short hair gal.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you talking about today?
Oh, wait, I should talk about your amazing oversized Pink Floyd shirt.
I love this shirt. Am I weird sweatpants shorts.
Yeah, your weird sweat shorts. I got these ones at
This is Dad's shirt, by the way.
It is?
It's one of Dad's old shirts. These are my favorite shirts, is when you and Dad get rid of shirts. Mm-hmm. And I just take your shirts, and I'm like, this is what I wear now.
This is it. So you want to know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
What?
This was made in 1988. It stars Cassandra Peterson, who is Elvira.
All right.
Who plays Elvira. And then everybody else.
And Cassandra Peterson is in it.
There's a couple other people in there. Like, one of them who plays, like, one of the townsfolk. Her name is Edie McClurg. And I
love the name Edie.
I do, too. What?
I like that name. I like the name Edie.
You like my name that I want?
I don't like Agatha.
Well, okay, I like...
Aggie's gross.
Okay, But Edith, I said Edith, and you literally made fun of me for liking Edith, the other day.
Edith is an old woman's name.
You made fun of me.
I am allowed to make fun of you as much as I want because you will never let me live down the names I like. So,
well, because you
off.
made up Azasia.
I did make up Azasia. In my defense, I read the name wrong in a book because I'm dyslexic.
Yep.
Hence the dum-dum classes. I was only taught how to make ice in grade school.
That's all I can do now.
This is me now.
But it's like, you'd recognize her voice. She's like quintessential, like, Midwestern mom. Like, oh, well, you know, we're gonna
Can I look at her?
I mean, I doubt you'd recognize her face. She does a lot of voice acting.
No, I know that actress.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, what do you know her from? She's in a couple things. She's in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Probably that.
In Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I think she's the receptionist that keeps pulling like
the
pencils out of her hair. I think that's her. If I remember.
I would say she looks familiar.
Well, she's in Wreck-It Ralph, but it's a voice.
She's one of the mean people in the.
Yeah, she's one of like
duplex
the little in the
house.
Yeah,
thing.
that housing thing. Fix it, Felix.
Fix it. I love the actor who plays Felix. I don't know his name though.
She rebuffed my affections. I can't think of his name either right now.
But I love him.
I do enjoy him as well.
He's in 30 Rock. He's really funny.
Yep, he's a funny.
He's a guy.
He's a guy.
What a guy.
What a gentleman. You know what's funny though? Okay, so really quick. Also, the director is James Signorelli.
Signorelli.
I think it's like it looks Italian. And I feel like in Italian the G is usually silent, so I think it's Signorelli.
Signorelli.
But I doubt it's Signorelli.
Signorelli.
But so what's funny is like on IMBD, is it IMBD or IMDb?
What does it stand for?
Internet Movie Database.
IMBD.
So it's IM. You
What's
just
happening?
said it.
What's happening?
You just said it different. IMDb.
IMDb.
Internet Movie Database.
I'm gonna just call it Internet Movie Database from now on because I'm
No,
scared.
I think I keep flipping the D and the B all the time.
I always just kind of say I am.
Well, anyway, so on here it gives it like a 6.6 out of 10 rating.
6.6.
6.6.
6.6.666.
But when I was on Amazon where I watched it, 5 out of 5 stars.
Nice.
Every person who's watched it, 5 out of 5 stars. And I can tell you why. It's exactly what you'd expect it to be. It's so it's so funny because the movie kind of like on Amazon it says it's a horror movie. It's like it's in my Shudder
play
thing, the app or whatever.
Yeah.
The subsection. And it's so funny to me because it's like horror and I'm like I looked at it and I know Elvira. Because she's been a guest judge on a lot of shows that I like to watch, and I know of her work, and I was just like,
Danny DeVito, I love your work.
I was like, Elvira's funny. I doubt this is a horror movie, but it has like spooky things. Exactly, it's campy horror, spooky things. But it's like I love it. I did enjoy it. Do I need to watch it again? No, not for bad reasons. Not necessarily. Not like a Midsummer moment where it's like I really don't need to see that again.
I don't want to feel that feeling again.
More like, it's like I kind of got what I was gonna get out of it, and I knew what was gonna happen. And you know what? I'm not mad about what I was given. I'm not gonna watch it again though. But I love Elvira, and it's like what I would like to do is I'd like to watch other things that Elvira is in.
Yes.
Because I like Elvira as a character.
Okay.
And I love her. I love her makeup too. I'm like, that's a drag queen.
I like her makeup.
And the hair, that beehive.
Are Reminds me of when they had those bump it things that they were selling on infomercials.
Yep. I think, if I remember correctly, it was inspired by, was the Ronettes and, oh no, I had it on the tip of my tongue. Because it's like long hair in the back and then like a big bouffant.
A big boof.
And it's like, I knew exactly who it like was. Like, I was like, I'm ready to talk about this.
I can do this.
And then I tripped the finish line.
Shit the bed. It's fine.
Anyway.
She's got a boof.
She does. So, and also her is a character I love because I love female characters that are like, I am sexy. I know I'm sexy. And if
Don't touch me.
And if you touch me, I'm going to end your life. Like Bayonetta.
I love Bayonetta.
Lucy Liu and Charlie's Angels.
I love Lucy Liu.
I love Lucy Liu wholesale.
Oh my god, I love her so much.
I'll never forget you, Fry. Memory deleted.
Memory deleted.
But and then Elvira, that happens actually a couple times. So basically, the movie starts out, and okay, so for those of you who don't know, Elvira did a lot of like creature feature, like late night, like kind of anthology things where she would host like very much like the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah.
But instead of being like, this is going to chew you to the bone, she was like, wow, this movie sucks. Or like, are you ready to get scared by this movie? Like, and she was very sexy.
Like sexy about it.
And she'd like have like some funny, like witty commentary on it. Like,
yeah.
Very full of innuendo and all that stuff. And she basically gets tired of it, and like one of like the very Nomi Malone, Elvira at one point in a very similar fashion like gets put up, like one of the people who runs like the TV show was like, hey, you're gonna go like sleep with this guy so that you can keep your job here, and she goes, hell no.
Yeah.
And like kicks, she like, it's so funny because she gets like, her segment ends and they switch like the morning news or something like that, and she starts fighting this guy on the morning news. Like she breaks into their
choo-choo.
Exactly. Oh, like a train. I get
like
it.
a train. This train is off the tracks.
Choo choo. Oh, I get it.
Oh, I get it.
Well, anyway, so then she's like, I want to get out of here. She wants to start a Las Vegas show.
Cool.
And then one of her I believe her agent is like, yeah, the Flamingo, the name of the club that she wants to go to, says you need to pony up some money for this production, and they need $50,000, which I guess is a lot of money back in the 80s. So
isn't $50,000 a lot now?
I mean,
That's a lot for me.
I wouldn't
as
look
a person.
I wouldn't spit on it, but it's like
I'll take it.
You're not gonna live comfortably with $50,000.
I mean, no, but if you want to give me $50,000,
if you want to gift me $50,000, I will take it. The amount there's probably
it's larger now.
One thing that's great about this movie.
This is the 80s.
One thing that's great about this movie, super campy, super cheesy. Lot of like, it's funny because so then the next part, the reason I bring it up because the next thing that happens is like then she receives a telegram. Oh, am I boring you?
No, sorry.
I know, I'm just kidding.
It's 7:41. I'm tired.
She just yawned, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, am I boring?"
Also, I'm popping my ears. That just happens.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so then after they're like talking about this whole thing, she's like, I don't have that kind of money, blah, blah, blah. She gets a telegram stating that her great aunt Morgana died and she needs to be present for the reading of the will.
Cool.
And at one point she looks up the camera and goes, is that timing or what? And so there's a lot of like that kind of thing in this movie, and I really liked it. And so she kind of goes on a cross-country drive to Massachusetts, Falwell, Massachusetts.
That's fun.
And to be there for the reading of the will.
I've always kind of wanted to go there.
And a lot of like shenanigans happen to her on the way.
Some funny hijinks.
Yeah. At one point, she like goes to like a gas station, and the guy is like not paying attention to her. Like it's one of those old like someone will pump it for you, and but it ended up being like self-serve. Like the guy was like really rude about it, and like she got back in her car, and the guy's smoking, and she's like, those things will kill you. And then she drives away, and the gas pump thing falls out, and he throws his cigarette butt, and the whole place explodes. And then she kind of looks in her rearview mirror and just goes,
Does he die?
Oh, he's dead.
That man is dead. So she was the one that put the gas thing back in, wrong?
Yeah, she put it in, but then it fell out. It wasn't like she actively was like, I'm gonna fucking kill this guy.
Body count number 1.
So, basically then she goes to this place in Falwell, and it's like very, very conservative.
Yeah.
And of course, Elvira trolls up, and it's like, to me, it's very Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar.
God, I love that movie.
It's very that, where she trolls up in this wild car, looking like a crazy person, and everyone's like, "What the hell?"
Whoa.
So, and basically, of course, all the boys like her.
I mean,
And of course, her car breaks down too.
what?
But not in the same way where Tu Wong Fu, where now they're stuck from getting. She's already at her destination.
She's made it.
So basically, she goes to the reading of the will, and her aunt bequeaths to her, her home, her special recipe book, and her dog Algonquin.
Algonquin.
Who's like a poodle, and then Elvira takes him and then cuts all his hair and turns him into like a punk rock kind of like poodle dog, and it's pretty rad.
I love that.
So basically, everybody is like kind of averse to. All the adults are averse to Elvira. All the kids find her pretty cool, though.
Rock and roll.
At one point, she is in the bar. She goes to like this motel to stay, and like the granddaughter of the motel people like let her kind of like tells her like, oh well, because Elvira of course is like, so what do you do for fun? And there's like, well, there's a bowling alley, which gets kind of fun. So Elvira's like, oh great.
That is so fun.
But she goes there, these guys hit on her, and she just takes their beers and like dumps them. Well, one of the guys comes up to her and goes, hey, I got something for you. And she goes, sorry, I didn't bring my my magnifying glass.
Oh!
And so like she has a lot of like little one-liners, little zingers like that. Totally. I don't know why in the history of RuPaul's Drag Race why nobody's done Elvira. Like she'd be perfect.
She would be
perfect for that game. Like
You're talking about the Snatch Game.
Yeah, Snatch Game on RuPaul's Drag Race. Just like
celebrity impersonation.
Yeah, it's all celebrity impersonations, and it's like the boobs, the makeup, the hair, the witty one-liners.
Perfect.
It's perfect, and I don't understand why. I think people are too afraid to do it because it is so iconic.
Yes.
And if you screw it up, it's one of the, I don't want to get on a RuPaul diatribe because I have thoughts on it.
You will talk for 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Which is about as long as this movie is, too, by the way. It's an hour and a half.
Actually, that doesn't surprise me.
I know. I wasn't surprised.
Like, it's something quick, snappy.
So, basically, she finds this guy who she likes, and he's really cute. Very 80s aesthetic
shoulder
man.
Pads?
No, the man.
Yeah.
Women wore shoulder
Guys had
pads.
shoulder pads, too.
I mean, yeah, in suits, but, he wasn't wearing a suit. Anyway.
They always wore suit coats in the 80s.
Not in this.
That's, like, all they did.
Not in this movie.
And they did a lot of cocaine. Cocaine and suit coats. That's all I got.
That's all you got. They did cocaine off of their shoulder pads.
They did.
Anyway, so she finds this guy that she likes, and he's actually really cute. But he's like I was saying, it's very 80s aesthetic of what the pinnacle of man is. Very upper body heavy. With
those shoulders.
With very little leg.
Itty bitty legs.
Itty bitty legs. But very muscular and attractive, but it's so funny because he's so he gets scared by Elvira. Like when I say scared, I mean like she makes sexual advances on him, and he's like, "No, thank you." And he's like, "Leave." I loved it personally because it was just like, the shoe is on the other foot. Eventually, Elvira kind of gets the kids behind her, and the kids come and help her rebuild her aunt's home, which is like totally dilapidated. Oh. And she also meets her great uncle, Philip, I believe was his name. Philip. I just watched it today. He wants the cookbook that his sister left to Elvira.
Okay.
And Elvira's like, cool, I need the money.
Cool.
And so while they're fixing up the house, she eventually goes to sell it to him, but he doesn't. The dog actually hides it.
Smart dog.
Mm-hmm. So, it's like we have a cute little montage of the kids fixing up the house. Elvira kind of making friends with all the kids in the neighborhood. And eventually she manages to, she's like, no one will give her a job because all the adults in this community hate her.
How old is she?
Elvira?
Yeah.
I have no clue. She is ageless.
In the movie,
I do not know.
Is she young like the kids?
No, not like the kids. She's like an adult, but also she just
But it's not creepy that she's hanging out with children?
No, because it's it's like the kids like how free-spirited she is and how...
Oh, I'm sure they do.
How more worldly... She's not a slut. they all think she, or like
all the adults
think
she's a
she
slut.
is, and she's not. No, it's like the kids are attracted to her like worldliness and like how she's so much different than everyone in
Then
this
their
like
stuffy parents.
yeah, they're stuffy like parents and stuff. Like at one point, the principal is like, any student found to be hanging out with Elvira will be expelled, and I'm like,
You don't have the power to do
I would
that,
say,
sir.
I know you're the principal, but I really don't think that that's something you can do.
That's not how that works. That's not that job.
So basically, they kind of like, they are trying to drive Elvira out, and they make it so that she can't get a job, but it just so happens that the guy that she likes runs the local movie theater, who is like having a hard time because he keeps running like crappy movies. And like, because they only allow like G-rated movies.
Oh my god, is this a city from Footloose?
Basically,
Oh my
like no
God.
fun whatsoever. But she eventually like manages to convince him to host like a midnight showing of like basically her show,
Spoopy films.
where she sits on a couch in a very seductive pose and she like makes commentary about the movie as it's playing. And she invites all the kids, and all the kids break curfew to go and watch this movie. And then, like, her rival lady, like, Patty Kellerman. She's also likes this guy that she's seeing, Bob. And I know. And she ends up humiliating Elvira, and Elvira's like, I'm going to get back at all of them.
How do you humiliate Elvira?
Well, of course, Elvira is like, she has like this like grand finale plan where she's like, well, it's this thing I stole. I mean, I borrowed from the movie Footloose. And she like does this whole dance routine at the very end. She leans back in a chair and pulls it down. She's like, and it's gonna be all this gold glitter falls on me. But
That's Flashdance.
She replaced. I said, what did I say? Footloose.
You said Footloose.
Well, because you just said Footloose.
This is the town
Flash
for
dance.
Footloose. Yes. Okay.
Flashdance. She pulls the glitter and she pulls it, and Patty replaced it with like tar.
Jesus Christ.
And tar and feathers her.
Doesn't that like kill you?
Not like hot tar, or I don't even know if it was tar or just some like black paint. But she basically tar and feathers her.
That's fucking crazy.
Well, she washes it off. It's fine.
Okay.
But
if it's real tar, Patty should go to jail.
No, she's fine.
Patty's insane.
Elvira's fine, and Elvira's like, I'm gonna try to I'm gonna get back at them somehow. And eventually Elvira, like, and then she kind of goes down and starts, like, hit on Bob again. And he's like, I'm actually really hungry. And she's like, well, my aunt has that cookbook. Let me try making something of it. Well, turns out it's a spell book.
What?
And she ends up, like, conjuring up this...
Not with a name like Morgana.
She conjures up, like, this monster thing, and it tries to kill him, but then they kind of fight it back and push it.
What is the recipe?
A lot of made-up words.
All right. What was she putting together if they were made up words?
Because the aunt had like all of these things in her cupboard labeled.
Oh, okay.
So then she ends up going in and she's like, oh, I'm gonna with these people. And she ends up...
I'm gonna kill them with monsters.
And she ends up, like, going to the picnic. They have, like, a morality picnic. And she puts, like, a pot of, like, stuff that she made at this morality picnic. And it tastes really good. And it's really popular. And everyone eats it except for the kids. It's really funny because the kids go up to eat. And, of course, the mean council people are like, no, kids, you go to the back of the line. And...
because you're young.
So all the adults eat this thing. And then just become inconsolably horny.
Oh, ew.
And they all just start, like, making out with each other and doing all this stuff. It's really funny. At one point, like, the mean councilwoman, she, like, gets up and, like, one of the guys is laying down. She's like, is this seat taken? And she, like, sits down on him.
On his face?
On his face. And, like, this whole thing. And, of course, Philip shows up and he's like, well, how'd you learn how to do that? And she's like, none of your business. Because there's also a letter from, like, she eventually finds a letter from Morgana saying, like, hey, Philip killed your mom. He killed me.
What the fuck?
And he wants the book because he wants the magic. He wants, like, the power. So you have to, like, protect it. Don't give it to him.
Police?
Exactly.
Hello? What the hell?
So then, she's like, go to hell. And he's like, no.
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 I'm not gonna.
So, anyway, then afterwards, it's not Philip, it's Vincent. I've been saying this whole time.
Where did you get that name?
I don't know.
They're not even close.
They are not even similar.
There's nothing.
That's going to be the name of the episode. It's like, Philip, wait.
Sorry.
So then afterwards, I remember it's funny because like the whole townspeople have like a meeting
A giant
against
orgy?
no, got a meeting against Elvira after that.
After the giant orgy.
After the giant orgy.
Nice.
And they're all saying like, I would never do things like that, blah blah blah.
Well, you did, bitch.
And it's so funny because at one point, one of the guys is like, I didn't even like mean to do anything, and the mean girl, the prudish woman, is
Patty?
like, no, not Patty, the prudish woman, the prudish old woman who sat on the guy's face, goes, that man assaulted me, and he goes, honey, I would have done that. He's like, you would have tired out a mechanical bull. And I thought that was funny. That one made me guffaw.
Got her.
But basically, Vincent, as he is now known,
As his real name.
basically convinces, because this is Massachusetts, he's like, there's rules going back to the Salem witch trials, and he's like, we can kill her, because there is still a law against witchcraft. It's an old law, but it's still here. It's like one of those laws, I guess. That's like you can't have a banana in the bathtub or something like that.
Weird, yeah.
Yeah. But so basically, the townspeople all get together. They arrest Elvira, and they're gonna burn her at the stake.
They were cool with that?
Yeah, they were all gonna do that. They all were like, "Yeah, let's do it."
In the shitting hell?
So the kids try to save her. It's funny. They try to drill a hole in the top of the jailhouse. They end up drilling a hole into the cell next to Elvira, and she's like, "Nice try, kids." But so they lead her out, and they're gonna set fire to her. But then she remembers her, like, the words that, like, she has the power within, and she has her, like, ring, and she's able to make the fire go out by conjuring rain. And then her and Vincent have a drawn out fight with each other.
What is their fight?
It's like magic-y fight.
I thought he didn't have magic. He wanted magic.
He has magic, but he wants to become the master of night. And in Morgana's note, she explains that Elvira's mother was the mistress of night.
Rad.
And so he wants to steal her power so that he could be the master of night.
Okay.
And so then she has her
become more memorable,
I guess. But
oh my god, you are really forgettable.
Oh my god, you are so forgettable. But he ends up like chasing Elvira around town and fighting her and Bob and her dog, who ends up being the dog Algonquin ends up being like the familiar for her, so he can change forms.
I love that dog.
I do too. And so eventually, at one point, she breaks into a gun shop and shoots a bazooka at him.
Why does the gun shop have a bazooka?
Because it's Elvira.
Is this Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
And then he's like, he lives, and he's like, did you think your little toys would be able to stop me? And she's like, yeah, kind of.
I mean, it was a bazooka, sir.
She's like, I figured I'd try. And then she's able to get out. She eventually kills him.
What?
In her house, like she's able to destroy him.
Like murder?
No, like he's trying to kill her.
Yeah, I know, but she like murdered him.
She's like, murder implies that he was like against it.
He was like killed by her hand.
Yes,
is what I'm saying.
Yes, for the most part.
All right. Is there
there
police in this town?
Yeah, and they're all against Elvira.
All right.
But so she ends up, but then in the process, her whole house gets burned down, like her old house.
Yeah.
And it's really funny. Bob is like the next morning after everything's done, Bob is sitting with her, and he has a neck brace on after like the events of the night before he got hurt, and he's talking like, "I'm sorry about your health, Elvira," and he like had like this silly voice that made me laugh. So the townsfolk come back up to Elvira, and they're like, we're sorry, we were wrong about you.
We're sorry, we tried to kill you.
Here's the thing that makes me confused, because I'm like, not that Elvira didn't do anything, but like, it's very unlike Tu Wong Fu in that in Tu Wong Fu, the drag queens helped each townsperson.
They did.
And made the town better.
It was nice.
Elvira just kind of ran around and did what she wanted.
She ran around and did what she wanted, made them all horny.
Yep, and I was like, there wasn't really a redemption moment for her.
I mean, that old lady, she got what she wanted.
Yeah,
so.
well, she also got turned into a pig by Vincent, so...
That was Vincent, though.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the other thing, is I think they realized that Vincent was just trying to turn them against her.
And make them murderers.
Yep. So, you know, but they all are like, and then the lawyer who told them, who told Elvira about Morgana's passing, she's like, well, now you're the only heir to Vincent's fortune, and he has a lot of money. Yeah, he has a whole fortune. Because at first she was like, oh, well, now I can't have my show in Las Vegas. She's funny. She's like, well, I'm just not one of the girls that gets everything they want. And then he comes up and he's like, oh, here's his fortune.
$50,000?
Not $50, like a lot of money. And then cut to the end where she has her show in Las Vegas.
Yay.
Which is a callback to Elvira's real beginnings, where she was a showgirl in Las Vegas.
What's her show? Is it spooky?
I don't know. I think she was just a showgirl. I don't want to be like just a showgirl. But she was one of the girls that danced in like
No, like not
the nice
real life
shows.
in the movie.
Oh, yes, her show in the movie is spooky.
Is spooky.
Yeah, she like has this. I really like the bra that she was wearing, but it's like it had tassels on it. But then
the tassels were ghosts.
No, but like the cup like was edged with spiders, and it looked really cool. I liked it. Lots of jewels. I loved it.
Of course.
But she had her little number where she spun her boobies, and it was great. And I loved it. And she had a cute dance number with a lot of hot guys, and I was into it.
And I was into it.
And then
was Bob there?
Bob was there. He was cheering
Bob
her
one of
on.
the hot guys?
No, I wish he was.
Oh, Bob.
But Bob was on the side of the stage cheering her on.
Like, I'm cool with this.
Yeah. Hey, support your loved ones.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if they're making money in a Las Vegas headlining show. Support your loved ones. They have money.
Jesus, Bob.
But yeah, that's basically the end.
All right.
It was a very short movie. Like I said, only an hour and a half. Very cute, very nice. I was pleasantly
very cute, very nice.
I was happy. It was exactly what I thought because I knew of Elvira's stuff beforehand. I knew it was going to be campy. I knew it was going to be cheesy. I knew it was going to be funny. I knew it wasn't going to be a horror movie, but it was going to have just enough spoopiness to be like
cute.
To be cute and to be like something we could talk about in this
Something
podcast.
for
But
September.
I very much enjoyed it, and I feel like it's a classic of the like cheesy, campy genre of like horror and stuff, and also like the not deconstruction, but like the almost kind of poking fun at the tropes of horror movies and stuff.
Yeah.
But I very much enjoyed it.
Oh, that was cute.
And that was Elvira. I thought it was cute. I've never seen it.
I don't. Well, I liked your rendition of it.
But yeah, that was Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Cute.
I would recommend it. It's on Amazon Prime.
On Shudder.
On Shudder. If you have a Shudder subscription, it's free. Otherwise, you do have to rent it. But in which case, if you have a Shudder subscription, it's not free. It's $5.99 a month. But
all right.
I should watch more movies for the $6 a month I'm paying.
You should watch more movies.
I should watch more movies wholesale. I'm really bad about movies and
It's
TV shows.
It's becoming October, so
I know. I need recommendations.
It's time for
I've
the
gotten a
spook
couple
time.
recommendations from one of our lovely commenters, and so I'm excited to do that. I have a couple that I'm looking into how to get, because one of them's like a Polish foreign film, like a Polish
that'll be
movie.
That'll be a task for you.
So it's like I'm hoping it's just on Amazon and I can rent it.
Hopefully.
That's what I did with Lost Boys.
We own Lost Boys.
But on VHS.
Yeah.
And our VHS player doesn't work very well.
Well, but it's
because
still
Aubrey and I
kind
tried to
of
watch
works.
Swan Princess and we couldn't get that mother to work.
I love Swan Princess. Oh my god, that's such a good movie.
But all of them are on Hulu, so
it's fine.
So we were still able to get our fix, but
Goddamn.
we watched all three of them.
Are they like what are the other two? Are they good?
So there's the first one.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. The second one is and then the third one is great because it has Zelda, the bad girl.
Oh wait, the one that turned in the black swan.
No,
no.
That's in the first one.
Yeah. Who the fuck's Zelda?
Zelda's like another magic,
character?
another
Okay.
Another evil bad character.
Okay.
She's great. She's the one who like created like the little like clouds of fire that went and like.
I don't remember watching the other ones.
Oh,
I just remember watching the first one.
Really? I only remember the third one for some reason.
Seriously?
Yeah.
But I must have seen.
Well, of course, the
it.
first one's great. The first one is legitimately great.
The first one is. I remember we'd go to the rental store. Because back then you had to go to Blockbuster or something.
We didn't even go to Blockbuster. We had like it was like a Sundance, like, we would literally, there was like a
We'd
thing.
walk down.
Walk down.
I remember we got to...
So nostalgic.
We had to cross the street, so I got to click the button to let the walkie guy come.
Even then, I was scared of heights, because Dad would be like, want me to put you on my shoulders? And I'd be like, okay. And he did, and I'm like, hate it.
And I was like, let's go! Life is as extreme as you want to make it!
And we'd go down and we'd rent that movie.
Swan Princess.
We'd rent some of the X-Men movies.
The X-Men.
Or the X-Men, like the 80s cartoon, or the like 90s cartoons. The Mask. Mary-Kate and Ashley movies. We would rent the Beekeeper one. Do you remember that one?
I remember the one where there was a monkey and he like vomited or something.
I remember that.
It was like a mirror maze.
I remember that a little bit.
Yes. I loved Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Yeah, Mary-Kate and Ashley movies. I remember watching those like crazy as a kid.
Ugh.
I remember going into the horror movie section and like
looking at the covers
and reading the backs and being like, oh,
I couldn't read, so I just imagined what they would be. I couldn't read at the age of 20.
Oh my god.
But I'm still making that ice.
Did you ever think about that there was one day that our parents, it was the last day that they were able to like pick us up and hold us?
Jesus fucking Christ.
And they didn't even know it. They were like, this is the last day I can pick up and hold my baby.
Okay.
Before we're just too big for them to do that. We're too old.
I want you remember this. You live at home. You're going to look over to Mom one day. She's going to have her earbuds in and she's going to be crying, and it's because of you.
Either that or she's going to come up and she's going to be like, oh, she's going to pick me up.
But yeah.
She's going to lift up all 280 pounds of me.
So that was
because I'm almost guaranteed after all this quarantummy I've got going on. This quarantummy I've got going on, I guarantee you I'm at least 280 or something by this point. Like, oh my god.
So that was like a straight bummer that you just pulled on me. So that's really cool.
Were you really affected by
it? I'm like sad.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like bummed out.
I guarantee you. Well, I guarantee you if you said it to Mom and Dad, they'd be like, yeet, and they'd like throw you across the room.
That's what I'm asking for, is to be thrown across the room.
If I said it, they'd be like, yeah, we're not trying that. My back's bad enough.
I'm sad.
Do you want to take a quick break and we'll get back to your break?
It's my turn. Oh, wait, I should save it. 1 second. Okay, now we're for real back.
I'm totally leaving that in.
It was, my mistake. I just always forget to save it, and then I delete the whole episode, and then I cry a lot.
You didn't, first of all, you didn't delete the episode. You undid the whole episode.
I undid it.
Second of all, you didn't cry. You had a full-on panic attack and your jaw locked.
It was pretty awesome.
It was wild.
It was wild. Anyway, I am going to talk about the Satanic Panic of 1980. Because...
Here's how we tie it in. Elvira at one point mentioned, she's like, oh, you like movies? I was in film. Have you seen I Was Married to Satan? And then she goes, how about the sequel, I Was Married to Satan too?
Sure. I looked up the plot, and I was like, the townspeople didn't like her because she's spooky. And I was like, boom, people didn't like people in the 80s because of Satan. Thank you and good night. Anyway, that's where
Elvis has left the building.
And yeah, that's how I died.
Crystal Connors has left the building.
God damn it. So I got my information from the California Innocence Project.
I like nice tits.
God damn it. I hate the dialogue in that movie. Doesn't make any sense. Okay. The California Innocence Project.
I like half a nice
tits. I'm gonna kick your ass. A Vox article named The History of the Satanic Panic by the U.S. by Aja Romano. What is the Satanic Panic by CBC News. And then a podcast named Uncover Satanic Panic Podcast by CBC News.
Satan's pretty cool.
So, if you don't know, the Satanic Panic was a craze in like the 1980s where people were like certain that satanic people and like cults and shit were like all over the place. And so...
Could it be Satan?
Yeah, pretty much. Whenever like a crime happened, the cops were like, I think Satanists did it.
And then they blame Satan in D&D.
And yeah, also, yes, that was in one of the articles, was D&D. People were like, I think this has to do with Satan. Because why is my son such a nerd?
There is no other excuse as to why my weeaboo son...
Other than the evils of Satan. So, in the Vox article, I got to watch a video about Satanism, and the guy who was, like, giving the... This was a law enforcement video, which...
Really quick, I feel like the, like, Satanism, like, the Satanists, like, it's kind of like the... It's like a fairy tale, kind of like the, oh, they, like, kill and worship, like do human like that's a fairy tale. Like
that's
real
bullshit. Yeah,
like the real Satanist church is actually like not
they're
like
just
that at all.
they're just rock and roll. They're really cool.
They are. They're really cool. Like I've actually like looked into some of their stuff, and I'm like, basically they're just like, we're humans, we're here, we sin, it happens.
Get used to it.
Like
Satan's pretty cool.
Satan's pretty cool.
So the dude, this is a law enforcement video that they showed, and it's an 80s. He's got the suit coat with the shoulder pads,
with the claws,
and the mullet. He's got this sick ass fucking thick mullet. He's like kind of a skinny, weird looking dude, and he's
very
like
80s. Why was everyone so thin in the 70s and 80s? Like everyone was so thin.
Do you want the answer? It was cocaine.
Oh,
they loved cocaine. They thought cocaine.
Maybe I gotta get into cocaine.
They thought cocaine. They were like just a little bit of coke.
If I go cocaine for the table, would you have some?
Would you have some crack?
A crack for the table.
They just thought like it was great and it made you skinny, and they were like, let's do speed. Why don't we do some speed about it and then do some aerobics? Anyway, so this dude, he must have...
Aerobics was more like the 90s, wasn't it?
The aerobics was definitely the 80s.
You're right.
I am.
Nope, you're right.
I love it. I love their outfits. You just think about what they were wearing,
I love
and
it.
you're
Like very. Oh my god.
the tights.
No, Barbie. Like
Barbie!
I picture that Barbie doll.
I miss Barbie. She's
love
still
it.
around?
Oh god, yes.
Okay, sweet. Just checking.
I love that whore.
Are Polly Pockets still a thing?
They are, but they're not like when we were kids.
What's wrong with them now?
I don't know. They're not right though.
They're not right.
They're not like the rubber clothes.
I love the rubber clothes.
That smelled like gasoline.
That smelled like straight gas. And your dog ate them and pooped them out.
And chewed up one of the Polly Pockets. But we still played with her.
We played with her.
She was involved.
She had no arms and legs. They didn't have a Polly Pocket wheelchair, by the way.
No,
what the
so
fuck's up with that?
We literally made one.
We made
We
one.
literally made a Polly Pocket wheelchair.
I wanted her to be a part of it. It was my
Yeah.
fault I left her out.
Yep.
And poor Zeus had to poop that out.
Yep.
So my
He
poor dog.
pooped out a lot of things.
He pooped out a lot of shit we should not have let him eat. My poor dog. Okay, anyway.
He lived to be old as hell, though.
I love that boy. Okay. Anyway, this dude... I'm still in the beginning. He's like... He must have been a Satanist at one point. Satanist? Is that correct? Am I saying... It sounds...
I think it's a Satanist.
I've said it so many times, it's like spelling one word and you're like, that's not how it's spelled anymore.
It's like gum.
It's like, yeah,
Or like,
bowl.
or you say a word and it's like, that's not how it...
I'm saying Satanist. I'm like, that sounds like I'm just making up
Satin.
shit. Satanist. But he's like,
They're really particular about their fabric.
He's walking up to this park, and he's like,
Does he walk like that?
He walks exactly like, you can't
McCall's
see it, but it's great.
She's doing like a robot. Like,
It's, they were all about the robot.
oh, my neck.
That was gross. Stop. You're gonna explode or something.
Did I tell you about the time in Hawaii?
That you popped your neck in the elevator, and that guy was like, Jesus!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you breaking? And I'm like, I hope so.
God, man.
Are you dying?
That's why I keep trying to do
Every
this.
day.
But anyway, he walks up to this park and he's like, this is where like a lot of pagans and a lot of homosexuals hang out. And I'm like, good start, keep going.
The two go hand in hand.
He said that, literally. That was like the next line.
As a card-carrying homosexual.
Oh my god, he literally was like, they kind of intersect a lot. And then he's like walking through this park, and there's
his mullet blowing in the breeze.
It's just like, you know, like slightly jostled by the wind. And there's a lot of like proof.
I've thought about doing a mullet.
Please don't ever do a mullet. We'll stop the podcast. I refuse.
I'm still thinking about it.
Stop it. Okay. But like, there's just like,
What about a perm?
okay, I could do a perm. That's cute.
I feel like that would be good on me.
I like that. But there's just
She doesn't have your bone structure.
She doesn't have your bone structure.
I'm sorry, go on.
There's conveniently placed like pentacles and like upside down graffiti crosses.
You mean pentagrams?
Well, there's a pentacle at one point, and he's like, "This is a pentacle. If you
This
flip
is
it upside down, it's a pentagram."
There we go. I was like, what? I was like, do you pentagram?
And he
pentacle.
goes through everything, and I'm like, I feel like this stuff is very conveniently placed for this documentary. I don't feel like this park is really the satanic, whatever. Anyway,
where was this park?
I don't fucking know. I watched the video and I was like, why is this happening? So,
oh, was it that one park that serial killer, that one guy, he was Latino. They chased him through the streets.
Richard Ramirez?
Yes. Wherever he was, he like would spend a lot of time in like a graveyard, and there was literally a tree that like branched off into like three different things, like a pitchfork, like a devil's pitchfork, and they were like
a devil's pitchfork?
They were like this is Satan's tree.
This is Satan's tree thing.
I was like, maybe it's like that.
Maybe. I don't fucking know. I honestly skipped a lot of the video because I got kind of bored. But that was interesting for the parts that were interesting. But the Satanic Panic was a bunch of false accusations of satanic ritual abuse and blah, 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 blah. But, like...
It sounds like a fun, like, party.
It
was... A satanic party.
I mean, it was not.
Well, it's Satanic Panic. It makes me like
Satanic
dance.
Panic. But it makes you actually locked up in jail for 20 years for something you didn't do. So...
Is this the Salem witch trials?
Pretty much. It's
like,
kind of like...
If you didn't like someone, be like, I think they're Satanists.
I think they're Satanists. Like, there's like... I did that podcast on the Salem witch trials. And then I did... Oh, wait. I never did one on McCarthyism. But
Not
you
yet.
know, like, McCarthyism?
Yeah.
Where everyone was a
Well, that was
communist.
That's not so much a horror, like a horror movie or a true crime, but it's like it's definitely like a horrible thing that definitely happened in our history. And fuck McCarthy.
It's pretty much, yeah. It went from like McCarthyism was the big thing to blame people as, and then it was like you must be a Satanist.
Being a communist.
Yes.
Went from being a commie to being a Satany.
A Satanist. So like
a Satany.
There were several things that led to the panic.
A Satany.
Thank you.
Didn't hear me.
Jesus fucking Christ. There's clownings. There was the first clownings of the 80s.
That's right. You said that before in the clowning in
my
video.
amazing episode on the clownings. So that was a fucking thing. And then The Exorcist.
What movie did I do when you did the clownings?
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
Oh my god, I have to go look it up. I did the clownings. It's in the beginning. Go look it up.
Yes, it's towards the beginning.
I like that episode. You should definitely.
I do
listen
too. That's
to
a good
it.
episode. I remember we did it. We were at our house, and there's only in place.
You did Carrie because I was doing
Pranks. Yes.
I always have a very tenuous thread. I do what I want. But anyway, The Exorcist came out.
I'm still kind of waiting for the
Oh my fucking god. Every time I start talking, you're like, anyway. What were you gonna say? I want to know now. What? No, wait, what? Do it.
I can't remember.
Oh, shit. Okay. The Exorcist came out. And the death of an evangelical guy named Jack Chick, who I don't know who that is because I didn't live in the 80s. But you can talk. I'm sorry.
No, it's
Stop making that face.
No. It's just the way that you like put your hands over your eyes was so funny.
So like these kinds of things started people actually thinking that like actual demons were a thing, and they got really freaked out about Satanism being a thing in like everyday life, and it could be anybody anywhere. Some other things that kind of made the occult more of like a reality to people was Charles Manson had his cult and his mass murders at the end of the 1960s. Anton LaVey is the person that started the Church of Satan in 1966.
I actually knew that one.
And he published the Satanic Bible on 1969. Laughing about 69.
Nice.
Nice.
That's what it says. It's like published in 1969. Nice.
Nice. William Peter Blatty published the book The Exorcist in 1971, and it was a film in 1973. A book called...
Which is based off of a true exorcism that happened.
Which one is it?
It was like a young boy. It was like there's like the real exorcist house That the movie.
Did we
and the
do an
book are based
episode on
No,
that?
we haven't done it.
We didn't do
Well,
it?
because we did The Exorcist, and we could still redo it.
We could still redo it.
But it was like one of our
a girl.
OG episodes.
It was an OG one that was bad.
It's one of our secret episodes.
Our hidden secret ones.
That one, Hellraiser.
Yes. And some
The
others.
first sleepaway camp.
Yeah.
We did one sleepaway camp and it sucked.
It sucked. So, wow, we're really selling our podcast.
Well, they were like the first 3 episodes we did. Of course, they're gonna be poo poo.
They were kind of poo poo. We were sitting at a table and we were clinking our glasses and
It was just a mess.
bapping our hands. But okay.
At least we weren't moving the microphone.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So a book called Satan's Cellar was published in 1972. It was a fake memoir that involved satanic worship and child abuse and blah, 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 blah.
A memoir of whom?
Some dude who I don't give a shit about. Mike Warnke. I wrote it down.
Winky.
Warnke. Jonestown. That massacre was in
happened.
1978.
That was wild.
That was like
They were wilding out with Nick Cannon.
1978. A shitload of people fucking committed suicide because of cult shit. People were like, whoa.
People were like
Cults. And then there was a shitload of serial killers in the 70s. The Zodiac Killer, the Alphabet Killer, Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, the Hillside Stranglers, and David Berkowitz.
I think I knew 2 of the ones you mentioned.
Do you know the Son of Sam?
No.
Oh, god damn it.
That actually sounds familiar, but like I can't place it.
Literally today, I was talking
Zodiac
about...
Killer.
Yeah.
I knew that one.
Yeah.
Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
I knew those ones.
Okay. David Berkowitz, Son of Sam?
Nope.
Not a bit?
Nope.
Not even a little?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Huh. Okay. Well, he's a really big one.
What were the other ones?
The Hillside Stranglers
Nope.
and the Alphabet Killer.
Nope.
All right. Okay.
Wait. No.
Wait.
No, I was thinking I got one mixed up. It's like I remember listening to something about like the chessboard killer or the checkerboard
Checkerboard Killer?
Yeah.
Chessboard Killer? Fuck.
One of the 2.
Oh my god, what's
It was
his
like
name?
he wanted to kill as many people as there were like either
Yeah.
spaces on a chessboard or
I want to say it was a chessboard. He's the, no, it was a checkerboard killer.
I think it might be the checker. I think you're right.
He's a Russian serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
And I know his name because...
And he almost fucking got there.
He was close. He was trying to get as many as like a different serial killer who's Russian.
That's right. He was trying to upstage someone.
He was pretty much just trying to upstage someone. But he's like, but no one gives a shit. But they also really love checkers/chess in Russia.
Whichever
Whichever one it is, they love it. Like
I think it's checkerboard. The checkerboard killer sounds better.
checkerboard. What the fuck is his name? I know it.
It sounds better.
I know it.
Well, okay, Russia. There's like 7 names. You have a nickname. Pick one.
My brain keeps saying Tchaikovsky, and I'm like, that's
not.
definitely a famous orchestraist.
Composer.
Orchestraist.
Name what he did.
The ballet, the Nutcracker, and the Swan Prince.
I would say, yep. And I would say, what's the other one?
We just
No,
talked
no,
about
no,
that.
no.
Did he just the Swan Princess?
No, I don't think he did. He did a different one.
Swan Lake?
No,
Fuck.
he did Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, he did Sleeping Beauty. Who the fuck did Sleeping?
I-
mean, the Swan Princess.
Fuck.
The Swincess.
I can look it up later. Anyway, go on with your thing.
Okay. And heavy metal was a thing in the 80s.
Hell yeah.
And parents were like, what?
Parents like, what?
So, the 80s was like super great for the economy. There was a lot of growth.
You're right. Swan Lake is Tchaikovsky.
Swan Lake, yeah.
But Sleeping Beauty is too.
The Nutcracker was a flop, apparently. Like, nobody liked that shit.
No. That's not. No, they
That's
loved
not that
it.
one?
No, they
Was it
loved.
Sleeping Beauty?
It must have been because Nutcracker. Tchaikovsky hated it.
He hated it?
He hated it. He was like that. He was like, this is my worst.
That is a
My
banger
worst.
through and through.
He was like, this is my worst thing. He hated it.
What?
Like famously hated it.
I love it.
But it was like, I love it.
Something was a
I love
flop.
Tchaikovsky in general.
I swear to God, something.
It's possible the Nutcracker was a flop. All I know is that What I know is that Tchaikovsky hated the Nutcracker.
Anyway,
Maybe it's like posthumously it became famous.
I don't know. But, so a lot of people were working, which meant there were a lot of families where both parents were working at the time. So daycares were way more needed than they'd ever been before.
Mm-hmm.
There was also the AIDS crisis. kids were beginning to be shown on milk cartons if they went missing. That had, like, never been done before.
Oh, I was wrong. I was definitely wrong. You were right. Swan Lake was Tchaikovsky. Sleeping Beauty was Ivan Kozlowski.
Chikatilo.
Well,
I got it.
that was the one that was a flop?
No. That's the serial killer in Russia who was the checkerboard killer. His name is Chikatilo.
Thank you. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
So now that we've been set straight.
This is I'm doing a bad job with the Satanic Panic.
Anyway. Satanic Panic.
The
Tchaikovsky.
Tchaikovsky. Kids were being shown on milk cartons, which had never been done before.
Yes, I remember I watched actually a recent video about like some of the first like milk carton kids.
So like
the memoir of a milk carton kid.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
It's a book.
I like that. Is it a missing kid?
Yeah.
Oh.
Who eventually like turned up.
Just got found.
She was like, "Hi.
Hey, I'm sorry." But like if you think about it, because right now people are very sad because the world is on fire and we're all gonna die.
The world is literally on fire. Do what you want.
I mean, do what you want. Except for don't kill people.
Do
what you want within reason.
Yeah.
But
don't
like,
hurt or disenfranchise anybody.
But like, as we're going forward, you're hearing way more shit. So now parents are getting milk cartons and they have kids' faces on them saying, "If you've seen me, my mommy and daddy can't find me." And parents are like, fuck, kids are going, like, that happens? Like, it's becoming more of a reality that bad shit happens.
That's like what we were talking, like, I was literally saying that to mom and dad the other day. It was like, back in your day, you guys would go out on your bikes, be gone all day, and your parents would just be like, as long as you're home for dinner, I don't give a fuck what happens to you.
Yeah.
And it's like, when we were growing up, if you left...
Where the fuck were you?
If you left the front yard, you better have who you're going with, their parents' phone numbers.
When you're coming
home, exact time.
Yeah.
You better not go out of the neighborhood. And mom and dad would be like, "Oh yeah, we went down to like the quarry and threw rocks at each other and drowned each other in the water.
It was real fun.
Exactly, it was great." And we're like, we couldn't even go to the damn park without needing an itinerary.
We were not allowed to like go places.
And so I was just like, fuck it, I'm setting up a card table and I'm playing Pokemon.
And they were like, "That's not what we want." It's like, what do you want?
What do you want?
Where can I go? But okay, and then there was the Tylenol murders, where there was just a bunch of like poison and Tylenol caps, and then people were dying.
That sounds familiar. Yes, I do know that.
That's a good case. I should really do it because it's terrifying as fuck. And then there's
because it makes you be like, oh god, do I want to buy this Tylenol?
Yeah, the trick-or-treater scares, which is when parents started to think that strangers were giving kids
like razor blades in their apples,
poison and razor blades and blah 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 blah. When it was really just one dad who
did the thing. I know that one. That's horrible.
Yeah, he put poison in a pixie stick and gave it to his kid.
Several kids.
He gave it to both of his kids.
He gave it to like a group of kids.
Well, his kids went in a group, so he gave it to those kids. And because he had an insurance policy on his kid.
Which is a whole nother apple.
Which you should not be allowed to do. I don't give a shit who you are. Which
is a whole nother apple.
Which is a whole nother apple.
Where did a whole nother walnut?
I accepted it and I just kept going.
You just kept going. I was like, I was stuck on that. I was like, a whole nother apple, Logan.
A whole nother apple.
Like,
so because of all this crazy shit,
name of the episode, whole nother apple.
A whole nother apple. People were beginning to feel unrest. They were beginning to fear strangers. There was a lot of big Christian movements for like evangelicalism and people taking literal interpretations of angels and demons. And then Geraldo Rivera made a documentary called Devil Worship.
Mustache Man.
Yeah. Exposing Satan's underground. And then there's a memoir that kind of sparked everything called Michelle Remembers, which is by a psychologist named Lawrence Pazder and his former patient, Michelle Smith, he said he used hypnosis to like retroact her memory or whatever, so she remembered
that's
her
reliable.
childhood.
Totally.
And she was like, I was abused by Satanists, blah, 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 blah. And he wrote a book. And then the book was like super debunked, like hardcore. And they just blazed on through that like, no, it's not. and everyone was like, okay, yeah, you must be experts on this field that you were factually debunked on. And the book made it sound like there were networks of Satanists everywhere. And they were, like, trafficking children and sacrificing babies and crazy shit. And nothing really happened to these two people. They were made out to be experts. And they were, like, treated like they knew what they were doing. So, here's some satanic abuse allegations. In 1980, in Bakersfield, California, a social worker who was reading Michelle Remembers as a part of her training in social work. That's like the thing. So some kids in the town started coming forward saying they were being molested as part of an occult sex ring. And their stories were pretty crazy. They said they were, like, hung from hooks and force-fed blood and made to watch baby sacrifices. Shit like that. That was taken as fact.
Bible.
But, yes. The social worker was like, yes, definitely a lot of baby sacrifices. 1984 to 1986, the cases of satanic sexual abuse sent 26 people to jail. Even though there was a lack of supporting physical evidence on almost all the claims. So, I did a couple cases. There's the case of John Stoll, who was in Kern County, California. There was reports of a sex ring in, like, the middle 80s, and Stoll was convicted of 40 years and sent to jail based on the testimony the testimony of 6 boys who were around 7 to 9. There was no physical evidence showing that this happened, just the testimony. When the kids testified, I don't know if it's this case or a different case, but they weren't allowed to look at the man they were accusing. They just faced the jurors, which is kind of weird. I don't think they would do that nowadays because...
No.
I don't know, it seems weird. So John served 20 years of his sentence. The California Innocence Project is a team of people who are trying to overturn wrongful convictions. They were working to free him, and they got it so 4 of the boys who testified, they recanted and were like, that never happened. We were coerced into making the allegations by law enforcement, social workers, and prosecutors. Stoll was awarded $5 million, but, like, he was in jail for 20 years, so...
So it's like, wow, thanks.
Cool. I'll just...
Stole 20 years of my life.
That's cool, though. It's totally worth $5 million. The case of Dan and Fran Keller, which, killer couple name.
Dan and Fran.
1991, a 3-year-old girl accused the preschool owner of pooping and peeing on her head, which she's 3 years old. Kids say weird shit.
Kids say weird shit all the time.
This snowballed into claims of satanic abuse, and in 1992, Dan and Fran, the power couple, were sentenced to 48 years in prison based on coercive interrogation by the children. And the claims of the kids were they were dismembering people, they were doing blood baptisms, they were drinking Kool-Aid blood, and there was a private plane that took the children to Mexico.
Yeah, a daycare person could afford that.
Yeah. The Kellers were released in 2013 after serving 21 years. Angry. The Fells Acres Day School, 1984, in Malden, Massachusetts. There was a 4-year-old who wet himself during nap time. Gerald Amiralt, not sure how to say it. He was told to change the kid's clothes because he fucking was full of piss. Later, the kid was found playing sexually suggestive games with a cousin, which is weird for a 4-year-old.
And also, what?
I don't know what that fucking means.
I'll say, what?
I did not look into it because
I don't want to look into that.
I don't want to know. But he was doing something creepy.
That's weird.
The fact that he was doing it makes me worried. Like,
but not to be that person, but boys do weird shit all the fucking time.
I don't know who he heard it from, if he learned it somewhere, but it's fucking weird he was doing it. Anyway, the kid was questioned about it by parents, which I'm picturing that scene in Christmas Story where he says fuck and his parents ask him where he heard it and he blames his friend even though his friend had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
But the boy said
He didn't want to say he did it at school.
Yeah. So Amaralt, the boy blamed Gerald Amaralt at the daycare for abusing him. So the daycare was called. The parents were told to talk to their children and look for signs of abuse. They were told to look for bedwetting, changes in appetite, and nightmares. Which, bedwetting and nightmares are pretty normal for children that age.
Yeah.
So, but anyway. So the kids were interviewed by police, social workers, and therapists. Charges were brought on by Amaralt for molesting multiple kids. He was convicted for assaulting 9 children and sentenced to 40 years. It was a family daycare, so his mom was sentenced to like 8 to 20 years in jail, which is a weird jump in time. 8 years to 20 years. And his sister was also sentenced. So, the kids claimed that they had been raped with knives, sticks, forks, and magic wands. They had been assaulted by a clown, which apparently was Gerald, and they were taken to a secret room or a magic room and forced to drink urine. So, the interviews had been videotaped, and the interviews are the children repeatedly saying nothing happened to them. And then there were no secret rooms, there were no clowns, and they were continually asked the same questions until they started to get led into what they were supposed to say, pretty much. One girl was told by an interviewer that her friend had said that a clown had taken their clothes off, and the girl was like, that didn't happen. And the interviewer's like, I think your friend was right. Which is like, what the fuck?
They're leading the witness.
Yeah. So, a study was done by a Maggie Bruck of subjects ages 4 to 6 that showed with prolonged and repeated questioning of children frequently resulted in false confessions.
Yeah.
If you ask a 4-year-old questions for long enough, the kid's just gonna tell you whatever the fuck.
Because they want to leave.
They want to go. They're 4. They have a they're very quick attention spans. They want to do whatever they want.
They're not Haley Joel Osment. They're not going to, like, sit there and be like, I need to, like, confess my whole life secrets to you.
Yeah, no.
Like, no, they're just like, I want to go, and I'm going to hold on to this repressed memory until I'm an adult, and it manifests in bad things.
Thank you for ruining my life.
Yeah.
And several others. Good night. So then, I mean, this one's really sad because... So, a Superior Court judge reduced the mom and the sister. She reduced their sentences because it had no physical evidence. And then a Supreme Judicial Court reversed it, saying, no, they're going to jail for fucking ever. And then they were released later in 1995, sorry. But... 1995.
In 1995.
In 1995. But then, so they were released on an appeal, but then the Supreme Court was like, never mind, you're going back in. Because it's not clear enough. So then while they're waiting for a verdict, the mom dies of cancer. So she, like, never got...
To be free.
She never got to be free.
On, like, a bullshit charge.
Yeah. And then Gerald and his sister, Cheryl... They were released later, but they were never acquitted for it. Like, they didn't do it. They were, like, released from jail like they fucking served their 20-year sentence, and they were on probation. So, that's...
Even though they didn't do jack dick.
Probably. Technically, we don't know. Because...
I really doubt
it was a bunch of 4-year-olds.
It was a bunch of 4-year-olds.
But, anyway, so then another famous one is the McMartin trial. There was an investigation in 1983. A parent accused one of the daycare people of abuse, a nonprofit called the Children's Institute conducted exams of the 400 daycare kids that went there.
Jesus Christ.
This exam was done by an unlicensed psychotherapist who had no medical or psychological training.
And yet they took it.
Her name was Kee McFarlane. They conducted interviews and basically coerced and produced false memories in... So 359 of the 400 kids claimed that they were abused. And their claims were that they were being flushed down toilets. There was a system of underground interconnecting tunnels that transported the children to ritual ceremonies.
I'm sure.
There was ritual sacrifices of babies, and the staff could turn into witches and fly. So, that's the testimony of a 4-year-old. Eventually...
Sounds about right for a 4-year-old.
Yeah. The case lost steam because there was a lack of evidence. The first parent who accused the first staff member actually had schizophrenia. And then the Children's Institute was discredited for being bullshit. So they dropped the charges on that one. So that's cool. And then the most famous case is the West Memphis 3. Have you heard of that one?
Nope.
Not a bit?
Nope.
Okay. We're probably going to do a full episode on this one because it's crazy. But a really...
So why don't we save it for that?
I just wanted to give you a...
Okay, give me a taste.
So, 1993, 3 kids were convicted of the assault and murder of 3 young boys. There was no evidence that linked them. They were rumored to be goths and worship Satan because they had...
Satan's pretty cool.
Satan's pretty cool. Because they had black t-shirts and they were just generally kind of grungy. And they were ultimately put in jail. One of them was on the death sentence. They were waiting to be killed. On no evidence. And they finally in 2011, DNA showed that there was no connection to the killings. But they had to put in an Alford plea to commute their sentences of time. So they had already served 18 years. Basically what an Alford plea is saying there's no real evidence connecting me, but I'm not saying I'm innocent. I'm just saying you probably won't be able to get me for it. Like, you're still technically guilty. They're just letting you go. So... These 3 boys had been in jail for 18 years. One of them was on death row, and they can't do anything about it. Like, they usually, if there was a wrongful conviction, you can at least get money at the end for compensation. They get none of that. They just were finally let out because it's a crazy case. I will do it later.
Angry.
So that was the Satanic Panic. A lot of people, a lot of daycares mainly.
I would say I noticed a lot of daycares.
There were a shitload of daycares.
It just sounds like to me some of these parents didn't want to pay for daycare.
It's daycares, and then there was one where it was like parents. It was like 2 parents where the kids were like, they abused me. And then later they were like, yeah, no, we got super... It's horrible because it's like this 4-year-old kid who's being told what to say, and then they put these people away forever, and then later they're like, oh, that wasn't real. And then now this person's like fucked up, and then they send a person to jail. It's a bummer.
It is.
But you know what? One day is the last day that your parents can hold you, so that's cool.
So let's lighten the mood with a sibling story that literally happened today.
Oh my god.
So we're talking about how Logan is a dumbass. Part
of many.
Part many of many. So
everybody's a dumbass.
I was like, hey, McCall, you're out of Diet Coke. Or not out of it, but like you're low. Like, and you didn't tell me to pick it up on the way here, like, you know, a person would be like.
Any person would do it.
But
this kid.
But so I was like, well, why don't I order Domino's? I'll order a couple liters of Diet Coke and maybe like a marble cake and some cheesy bread.
Cheesy bread.
And you were like, cool. And I was like, awesome. So I did it and I ordered it and we were waiting. And then it didn't come. Like we got, like I got the text saying, hey, we left it. You're good. Because it's a contactless delivery.
Because of COVID.
And
are you okay?
I'm sorry, I was burping.
You had so many burps.
I was like, I'm burping.
And you're
I was
just
like,
sitting there like,
I know, I was like, oh my goodness. But, and so I walked around, as I was walking around the apartment complex, I suddenly was like, oh my God. And I realized that I did not click to have because I have McCall's address for the apartment saved in my phone, or saved in the Domino's app.
Because we get Domino's every time.
And I did not click to have it delivered to the apartment, and I had it delivered to our home, and like where our parents live, and
where no one was,
where nobody was.
Except
our
for the
parents
cat.
are out, so I had to call my grandmother to go to our house because I'm not in the same city anymore. I'm in a different city. So I was like, I had to go.
Grandma.
I was like, Grandma, please, can you go? Like, and I was like, at first I was like, you and my cousin who's staying with her, you guys can just have it. Just eat it. Someone better enjoy it.
Have fun.
Like, and she was like, oh, we already ate. And she's like, I'll just go to your, like, she lives like 2 minutes away. She's like, I'll just go. And I'm sorry, am I boring you?
No,
I'm just kidding.
It's 9. I'm sleepy.
Anyway, so she basically just went and put it in our fridge, and I was like, "Oh my God,
Poor
I'm
Grandma.
such a ding dong." It was rough.
Are you digging in your ass?
No, I'm just itching my butt cheek.
I just literally just see.
Well,
I'm
also fiddling with this zipper because it won't zip.
I I thought you were fiddling with a zipper, but then your hand was there for a long,
long
time.
Then I was like, oh, my butt kind of itches.
You're itching your ass
because I have monkey butt. Anyway, if you would like to send us an email about my monkey butt,
I have hives. Do you get hives?
No.
You don't get hives?
No.
I get hives.
That's
now.
not normal.
That's like normal now.
That is not normal.
I went to the doctor and they're like, I guess you get hives now. And I was like, are you sure? And they were like, positive.
That's not Norman.
Do you get hives? What do you get?
If you'd like to tell us if you get hives, you can email us at livingvicariously@gmail.com.
Or about your sibling stories.
Yes, sibling stories, horror movie recommendations, especially for spoopy season coming.
Spoopy.
Honestly, by the time that we get this fucking episode out, it's going to be like halfway through October. But
Yikes.
It'll be December. But anyway, if you'd like to follow us, we're on all major social medias. Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, insert other thing, YouTube, Instagram. It's all Living Vicariously except for Twitter, which is just Live Vicarious. And yes, you will have to fight your Google search for that. They'll be like, do you mean Live Vicarious? And it's like, no.
We should have thought it through.
We should have, but we didn't. And here we are, and we've committed to this label.
And that's why we have as many followers as we do.
Well, here's the thing. I am bound and determined to make us the first thing that pops up rather than Living Vicariously.
We'll see.
I doubt it because Living Vicariously is actually an idiom.
It's like a phrase.
Yeah, so, but anyway.
But make it happen, dear listener.
Yes, please. Let us know what you'd like to hear next. Until next time, Elvira's boobs.